And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. My name is Gerald Glasser from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We truly appreciate you being part of the PCC Multiverse. We're here every single Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on the Podcast Radio Network. We truly appreciate you listening. We're one of the top 10 shows on the network, and we truly appreciate everything that you do for us as far as, just listening to us and liking exactly everything that we do and coming back week after week to listen to our great podcast. We're also on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Mixcloud, podcast.com, the ESO Network, the Tangibound Network, and the Gun and Geek Network as well. And if you download our shows, either the PCC Multiverse or the Pop Culture Cosmos show, which you can actually listen to on Mondays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific on the Podcast Radio Network. But if you download either of those shows on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel, you'll get a free bonus podcast each and every time you listen to one of our shows. Well, with me today again is my good friend, the man, the myth, the legend behind Humanican Media, and also a tried and true member of the Pop Culture Cosmos. It's Josh Peterson. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm good, man. How's it going?
Good. I was practicing that dramatic pause right there and just wanted to make sure that it's Josh Peterson.
We need like music behind it to kind of like Inception music. That really set the mood for what I'm about to say, because my words are earth-shattering on occasion.
Oh, indeed they are. Indeed they are. So before we really get into the nitty-gritty that is the PCC Multiverse, let's check in with Josh on everything going on with Humanican Media.
Let's see. We just did a new episode of the Super BS Games Cast, which we are retitling to the Super BS Games Cast. Next week, we will have some morning monitors. We took a break this week just because there are some scheduling conflicts. And we will also have a new What About This podcast for you next week. We're filming it or recording it on Saturday. And yeah, I mean, there's some other things in the works, but it's all about scheduling, timing, not overworking myself. So we'll get there.
We don't care about that. Just go ahead, overwork yourself, indeed.
No content.
That's right. That's what it's all about. Believe me, after doing yourgamesource.com for several years and now Pop Culture Cosmos, it's all about the content, indeed.
I do have a Let's Play of Prey coming out that's actually scripted, and it's got some funny video footage to go with it. So you'll be seeing that either next week or the week after. When is it? May 5th, I think?
Yeah. Yes. Looking forward to it, indeed. So, although it's, kind of different now in this version than what the original Prey was 10 years ago, but which I kind of liked when I played through it. But okay, we're still going with it. We're seeing if it's going to have that scare factor, or if at least it's going to have that really good Bethesda touch to it, which I'm hoping it will. So we're looking forward to it, indeed. But for right now, we're going to talk some movies. So, and the first thing I want to ask, did you get a chance to see the trailer for Kingsmen, The Golden Circle?
I did. I watched the regular one, and then I saw that there's a red band one, which was
adds one word, makes it a red band trailer.
Yeah, and I don't understand. They're like, oh, new red band Kingsmen trailer's out, and it is something like to describe a violent movie, but it was the same exact thing, and they just said a couple bad words. It's not any different. But anyways, I'm really excited about it, because that was kind of like a movie that I watched, and I knew it was based on a comic, but I'd never read the comic, and I watched it, and like the moment I saw how over the top it was, kind of like Wanted, I liked it. It has a certain novelty to it that it's like it can be a serious movie or it cannot be a serious movie, but it's just fun to watch.
Yes, it is indeed, and I can totally attest to that as well. But I'm telling you right now, it's definitely something that I'm looking forward to. But going in deeper to the Kingsman, the Golden Circle, I truly love the original. I had no idea what to expect, and I just thought the movie was incredible for as far as the viewing experience is concerned. I just truly enjoyed even the over top acting of Samuel L. Jackson in the movie. I thought that was kind of funny, and I just thought exactly the whole concept as far as how the Kingsmen were made, and as far as Trixie getting the actual, becoming that James Bond like secret agent that in the end that you were hoping he would turn into. And it was just really just a fun ride, and just the over the top ending. Indeed, it was just crazy. Well, I love that, the heads. Oh, sorry, spoilers. The heads popping off, pop, pop, and that was just just truly funny indeed. Kudos to Matthew Vaughn for actually coming up as far as with its outstanding movie, and the follow-up I'm looking forward to as well. How Colin Firth, spoilers, is being resurrected into the movie. It looks to be something very interesting indeed. Could he be the bad guy? You never know.
It was weird because when they initially announced that Channing Tatum would be in the movie, they said that he was going. They made it sound like he was going to be like a Kingsman, but it looks from the trailer, it looks like he's a villain.
It looks like they're villains, but could they be just maybe fighting at first and maybe working with each other later on? Who knows? Who knows? Indeed, because there is one scene where he and Halle Berry are tied up, interrogated, being interrogated maybe by the Kingsmen perhaps, but that's something, I guess that's a lot of speculation indeed. But what I want to ask you when it comes to Kingsman, the Golden Circle, is it's being released in September 24th, which to me is a really kind of funny time to have a sequel from a really, really successful movie. So my thought is, why couldn't this movie have come out sooner?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Nothing good really has ever come out in September, as far as I know. But I mean, maybe they just need the extra time to work on it. Maybe it's they just wanted to make sure they steered clear of any other movie that would get in the way of its box office numbers. But yeah, it's an interesting time to release a movie. It's still gonna make a bunch of money, I guarantee you. It's just it's built up such a cult following, so it's not in any danger of losing money.
And we just spoke about it on a previous episode in regards to the timing and lack of movies that have the hit potential in the month of August. That would have been a great time to go ahead on maybe the second or third week of August to actually put that movie then, because I think it would have be even more available to make a lot of money just before the kids go back to school. But that's just me. Not that the kids would see it, mind you, but they'll probably ask to want to see it. But I just think that probably could have been a better time to more available adult audiences could see the movie as well. But
August is a weird time for movies too, because as far as the release dates go, they're constantly changing. You don't know for sure when something is going to come out till like a month before it comes out. That's when everything is completely solid.
Indeed. So it's kind of strange that took place, but they're the experts for the reason with the studios. So a lot of times they, more than not, they make the right call on things. Last year we did say as far as July was pretty stacked, and maybe that was not in the best benefit of Jason Bourne or Star Trek Beyond. And this year we think August after The Dark Tower is like a vacant parking lot, and just somebody should have parked right in there with a quality film. And I thought Kingsman: The Golden Circle could have really been it. But we'll see what happens later this year. But September 24th, definitely Josh and I are looking forward to it. If you have any thoughts on Kingsman: The Golden Circle, please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Also, Pop Culture Cosmo on Facebook and Twitter, and then also Humanican Media on Facebook and Twitter, and Golden and Game Source on Facebook and Twitter as well. So before we head over to talk a little bit more about other stuff, including Call of Duty, Halo 6, and even more stuff later on in the show, I wanted to ask your thoughts on the announcement by Disney, among all the other things, as far as release dates are concerned, with the Lion King, and also as well your favorite movie, I know, Frozen 2, that you're looking forward to. And then also another thing that came up was the release date for Star Wars Episode 9, May 24th in 2019. So I ask you, they're steering away from a December release in 2009 with Star Wars Episode 9, but they're not putting it on the first week of May. They're saving that for obviously one of the Marvel movies. So your thoughts on why they're going ahead to putting it near the Memorial Day weekend and not keeping it in their very successful December time slot?
Because May is the beginning of the summer movie season, and I think that Disney, it's kind of smart too if you think about it. Disney just wants to own the entire block of summer movies. So it makes sense. And I know, like, a lot of people, it'll be interesting too to see if it gets more people watching it than had it been released in December. But I'm not a huge fan of the December release dates. It's just because it's such a busy time for me personally. But I would much rather see like a Star Wars movie in the summer. And
it hasn't stopped the Star Wars movies though. Yeah, The Force Awakens over 2 billion. Rogue One over 1 billion. So it doesn't really stop people from going to see those movies. It may from others maybe, but because we know that if you want to be eligible for the award season, you have to be out before Christmas or on Christmas. So I know a lot of films have to be released before then, but
right. Do we know if anything's being put in that December spot though?
That I'd have to check into, and I can do that while we're on the break here. But it's just kind of fascinating that they're steering away from that, and they're actually almost conflicting with their own movie, because earlier that period of time, I believe there's going to be a Marvel movie. Is that correct?
Yeah, but also remember both of the what was The Force Awakens and this Star Wars coming out was actually, they were both actually originally slated to be released in May, and then they got their release dates pushed back. So this might not even come out in May. It might just be December. We could just be speculating for all we know. But yeah, I mean, it would be weird because they would kind of be stepping on the toes of other movies, I guess. But Disney obviously has a plan, so I don't really, what it is at this moment, we might not know.
Well, let me tell you right now, as according to Box Office Mojo, in December of 2019, as of right now, Untitled Disney Fairy Tale #2 is what they have listed for 12/20 of that year, just after He-Man, Masters of the Universe movie, which I know Rob McCallum and anybody from that era who enjoyed He-Man, like I did, and like he did, obviously, will be able to enjoy as well. But Frozen 2 comes out a month prior, right during the Thanksgiving holiday season, like I believe the last Frozen did. So Disney's got something up their sleeve around Christmas time then, but it's not going to be Star Wars. So that to me is a little bit surprising. What are your thoughts out there on that? Should they keep Star Wars in that Christmas time slot? Should they keep them around the end of the year, because they've had so much success in the past couple of years with it? Tell us your thoughts, Pop Culture Cosmos and yahoo.com, and then also as well, Humanican Media, Pop Culture Cosmos, and Game Source on Facebook and Twitter. Well, we've got a great show lined up for you. Coming up, we're going to be talking, like I said, about Call of Duty. We're going to be also talking some Halo 6 and a lot more as far as the movies are concerned later on in the show. But first, we've got a great song again from our good friend DJ Plasma Z. This is Mango, and this is the PCC Multiverse. And we're back with the PCC Multiverse. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. I'm here along with my good friend, the man, the myth, the legend behind Humanican Media. It's Josh Peterson. And I just wanted to make sure everybody gets a chance out there that knows that we're on Friday every 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on the Podcast Radio Network. But we've also got a great show On top of that, that is the #1 show currently on the Podcast Radio Network. So check it out. It's the Pop Culture Cosmos Show every Monday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific on the Podcast Radio Network. And then don't forget, you can always download our shows on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Mixcloud, Podcast.com, the ESO Network, the Tangibound Network, and the Gonna Geek Networks as well. And you're also going to get bonus episodes of podcasts from the Humanican Media at Game Source and Rob McCallum Films, and also as well the Pop Culture Cosmos umbrella that's on top of every show that we put out there. And then also as well in Mixcloud coming up the next couple of weeks, I'm going to put some Humanican Media more podcasts up there as well. So check that out indeed. So I want to ask you a question, Mr. Gaming guru, I should say, indeed, because of your work with the Super BS Gamescast. That is going to be, actually, we're going to play a clip of it here in a little bit, but also as well, we're going to talk about some things going on in the video gaming world. And primarily, I want to talk to you about first the big reveal for Call of Duty World War II. I know you had speculated earlier, on an earlier podcast a little bit about it, and I know you do not have a great affinity for it as far as that's concerned. But I know that going back to World War II, you thought was a wise decision by Activision, seeing how EA and Battlefield 1 is doing as far as their success from going back to from a modern perspective, so to speak. So I want to know your thoughts. Has the big reveal and the trailer that came out and all the emphasis that are doing on World War II now, which looks like, if you got a chance to check it out, everyone out there, looks very similar to the opening of Saving Private Ryan. What are your thoughts on Call of Duty World War II? Is it something that may now kickstart some interest in regards to actually trying out again the Call of Duty product?
Low-key, I'm actually really kind of wanting to play it now. So if that answers your question,
that does. But why? What appealed to you? What? Because the trailer to me, I'm going to be honest with you, the trailer to me just seemed like the same Call of Duty type cinematics, except within the confines of the World War II setting. So to me, it didn't seem very much different. But obviously to you, it did, because it might have scratched an itch you didn't know you had there, as far as the World War II is concerned.
Well,
so
I don't really think maybe it did scratch an itch, but not like the kind that someone who perpetually plays Call of Duty might get. To me, it scratched it made me nostalgic, because when I first when I first got my Xbox 360, I played Call of Duty 2 just relentlessly. Like, I absolutely loved that game. And I mean, this game could be like that, or it could be completely different. Call of Duty 3 wasn't a huge fan of, but this game actually, they're going back to their roots. So they're taking what they've learned and putting it back into something that they've kind of played around with already. So it has the potential to be really good, and at the same time, it has, it can bring in a broad, because I know I'm not the only person who got burnt out of Call of Duty. I think it has the potential now to bring back people who have left the franchise, and also keep that fan base that it's had. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But did you read Polygon published this article about having diverse characters in Call of Duty, and I read it, and it's, I think that there's a point where, like, these video game journalists kind of need to pick and choose their battles a little better, just because it's it's Call of Duty. It's not really a game that people expect diversity from. I mean, I know they haven't done such a great job of it before, but I don't know where I'm going with this, but the article is just kind of like one of those articles that looked like it was trying to bait people into a fight. But overall, I wasn't displeased with the trailer. I liked it. I mean, I don't know if I liked it, but I'm looking forward to giving it a try once more. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, when I was going through the schools of each class, as far as learning how to become a better journalist and whatnot. One of the things I got to do, I had the chance to sit down with Colin Campbell of Polygon, who I believe wrote the article. I think you're in question, because I know he did a full feature on Call of Duty World War II. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, that's the one where he's talking about a lack of diversity in the game.
Yes. So I know that after speaking with him, as far as what he looks forward to in his writing, and what he what research he puts into it, I know he doesn't do things without some serious thought and process into it. So I can tell already that maybe that there was some intention as far as trying to push some buttons, but also identify some things that, as far as the Call of Duty universe, that they really have not had, or maybe pointing some things out that, yeah, most people don't really recognize or don't really care. They just want to go in guns a-blazing with the Call of Duty as far as format, but maybe there's reasons why the Call of Duty success has waned just even a little bit over the course of the past few years, and they're taking this drastic change, this decision to go into such a different direction to the World War II from where they were at previously. In fact, as late as last year, they were in space last year. So now all of a sudden you're going back to World War II. Why is that? So they're trying all the stops, and maybe creating a more diverse atmosphere is the answer to try and appeal to a wider audience. And if it's obvious and it's blatant, well, then it is what it is. But
wait. You say wider or whiter audience?
Wider audience.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get that, and I get the need for diversity. I just like, with Call of Duty, especially the time period that this takes place in, it wasn't really a great era as far as like the civil rights movement goes. So I mean, if they really wanted to get diverse and put, a true like represent each of these people well, it seems like it's kind of a boiling pot for controversy. So I kind of understand why they wouldn't want to go there, if that makes sense.
Well, as long as they're not trying to shoehorn it and make it unappealing to all audiences, instead of trying to do the right thing and trying to do something admirable and showcasing all the different sides and all the different facets of war, which I'm hoping that they will try to do. At least they're claiming, at least with the article in question, that the way I was interpreting it is that they're trying to show the human emotion, and from many different sides. So I'm hoping that they will do that indeed. And if they are trying to show diversity, then more power to them. But as long as they do it in an acceptable fashion that audiences will appreciate, and not just try to do it because they feel like they're forced to, or they're trying to force it onto people. That's not the way to go. They want to, when you make something diverse, or when you make something approachable to all audiences, that's what you need to do, and create it the right way and go about it the right fashion, not just try to shoehorn in something just because you think it fits. So I'm hoping that they'll make the right decisions, and if they include diversity within the Call of Duty framework of World War II, I have no problems with that. I just want to make sure it's something that there will be no backlash of major proportions, because with the Call of Duty franchise, even something as simple as pushing X to pay your respects was frowned upon, and that was really just harebrained indeed. So I want to make sure that they when they make Call of Duty, going World War II going out there, they want to make sure that that's something that's representative of the actual war itself. Because if they're trying to recreate World War II and create the emotions and have that experience, give players that experience that is World War II, whether it's for good or for bad, or for show the ugly, show the horrors of war and what it can do, especially at that time, then that's fine. And how you make it diverse is fine, as long as you don't try to just flaunt it in front of everybody and say and just do it just because you're trying to meet a quota or meet something of that's not
like
truly in the, yeah, like not something that's something that's done in the spirit of it, and that's done that that's done with a true passion and with a true appreciation for everyone and everything in regards to fighting in World War II. So that's what I think anyways. I just wanted to be, if you're going to be open and diverse, that's awesome, and I truly applaud you doing, but don't do it because you feel like you have to. Do it because you want to and feel like you should. That's
Yeah,
what I said. That's what I think. So
yeah, I mean, because what I took away from the article was that they were getting mad that because Call of Duty was trying to be diverse, but I guess the article was saying, or the writer was saying that they weren't they weren't diverse enough. I mean, I might have taken something different from that, but yeah, I mean,
I mean, they have been accused in the past of not being diverse enough, and I can see that from, if you could just paint by the numbers on this one, you can see in previous editions and previous iterations that they have not met the, it's modern warfare, and then you go into a little bit future warfare and whatnot, and it's still a lot of their episodes, a lot of their iterations just feel a predominantly white, predominant. It does not feel diverse at all. I can say that firsthand. So if they're trying to go in that direction, I hope they do, and I hope they do it naturally. I hope it comes off organically, and I hope it comes off so that players don't even realize how diverse it is, and that they just enjoy the game for what it is.
No, I agree. You couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, there you go. And indeed as well. And if you have any thoughts on Call of Duty World War II, whether it's the diversity issue or just the game itself, let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com, or also as well Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, and Humanica Media on Facebook and Twitter as well. But before we head to a break, I want to talk to you about one last thing. Halo 6, some good news. The word leaked out that Halo 6, when and if it should arrive, whether it's sooner or later, what have you, that it will just be a focus on Master Chief and his struggles, and the narrative will be put centrally through Master Chief and what you're controlling. So what are your thoughts on that after the previous Halo iteration not getting the love that it should because of Locke and the conflict that was there, and the tension taken away from Master Chief and whatnot? What are your thoughts on that? Is it a good move by Microsoft to be heading in that direction and 343 Studios, or do you think that they should go into a more open-ended route with some different character variation that you're able to control?
Okay, so I read the article, I read the story, I read Phil Spencer's comments, and the Kiki Wolfkill, I think is her name, that runs 343 now. I'm confused, because if what they took away from the criticism of Halo was the fact that they introduced new characters like Locke and Buck, well, Buck was an ODST, but if that's what they took away from the whole thing, is that there are too many characters, they took away the wrong thing, because I don't think a lot of fans had a problem with the fact that they were introducing new characters. I think they had a problem with the way the story was going,
and that they were controlling another. I don't mind that Locke was in it. I don't mind that Buck was in it. One of my favorite Halo character is a tie between Master Chief and Sergeant Johnson.
Yeah.
that he rocked. I'm sorry, one of the
dude, he's awesome. Yeah, for
one
sure.
of the most saddest parts in my game playing was when, spoilers, in Halo 2, I believe he or is it Halo 3?
It's Halo 3. Did you ever watch?
Yes, when he got killed by the Arbiter.
Did you ever play through Legendary on the first Halo, and you go after the credits and you see the ending of Sergeant Johnson patting one of the elites on the back and going, well, this is it, right when the planet's about to explode?
Yeah, I've seen that. Indeed, it's very funny. He's just a great character, and I just truly appreciated everything. And he's got a great one of the Halo novels with him, Harvest.
Yeah.
Contact Harvest. That is probably the best of the Halo's novels that I have read personally. So, but he's not a playable character within the confines of the Halo narrative that you play through Halo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what's so great about it, is that he comes in, provides what he needs to provide to flesh out the story even more. Locke would have been great if he did the same thing, but I know a lot of people gave flack to 343 Studios for actually controlling and seeing it from the perspective of Locke as far as for a good portion of the game, instead of focusing entirely like you have like the previous Halo iterations from a Master Chief perspective. So your thoughts as far as in that direction going Halo 6 just back to what it was previously, as far as the sole focus is on Master Chief and everybody else as far as supporting characters being just that, supporting characters.
See, I didn't mind it. Like, I didn't mind playing as Locke and having Buck on my squad, and like that part honestly didn't bother me. And it wasn't even like a lack of Master Chief that bothered me. It was the story that got me. Like the idea of Cortana. Like, I just don't like where they went with it. But as far as like controlling other characters goes, I think they added enough into it to like I thought they balanced it out pretty well, and I liked knowing the backstory of all these characters, knowing why they were chasing the Master Chief, what the Master Chief's motivations were. His team, is having his old team back in this. So now, if they're going back to a Master Chief centric game, which is great, good for them. I just hope that they do it without, messing up what they've already done as far as character development and explaining why these characters are in this universe, what got them involved. Like, don't act like what they did in Halo 5 never existed. I'm all for a Master Chief centric Halo 6, and I hope that the story makes up for the crap story we got in Halo 5. But I just want it to be handled organically, I guess is what I'm getting at.
I do as well, and I hope the best as far as for Halo 6, because I'd love to have that love for the thrill of Master Chief playing as Master Chief once again. I'd love to just be able to go ahead and seek out another adventure with Master Chief one more time. It would be truly awesome indeed. What are your thoughts on Halo 6? Let us know. Pop Culture Cosmos on Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, and Humanica Media on Facebook or Twitter, or popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, like I said, we've got the Super BS Gamescast coming up right after the break. Get a little taste of that. And then we'll close out the show with some thoughts on a couple movies, that one which we do like, that knowing going in that's really cool news. And then one which really has, well, let's say has chapped Josh's, well, you fill in the blank. And you fill it in right after these messages, when we come back with the PCC Multiverse. And we're back to close out the show right here on PCC Multiverse. My name is Gerald Glasser from the Pop Culture Cosmos. Once again, we truly appreciate you listening. Thanks so much for being part of the PCC Multiverse. We just are truly indebted to you indeed. If you get a chance, check us out on our Monday show at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific on the Podcast Radio Network. We're also available on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Mixcloud, Podcast.com, the ESO Network, the Tangent-Bound Network, and the Gun and Geek Network as well. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source, and I'm here again to close out the show with my good friend, the man, the myth, the legend behind Humanica Media. It's Josh Peterson. And Josh, I want to ask you real quick, before we head on out to talk about a couple of movies ideas that one we're pretty high on and one we're not so high on, what's going on with Humanica Media?
We have a brand new Super BS Gamescast coming at you, I want to say tomorrow, if I can get it all edited and stuff. And we'll have a new episode of What About This, followed next week with some more Morning Monitor episodes, which are now available on iTunes and other sources. I have a list somewhere that I'll find. And then there's some more stuff, exciting stuff coming, hopefully. There's some new Ghost Hosters in the works, so lots of good stuff on the horizon, but it's I can't promise any release dates yet.
That's okay. We just like the fact that you're bringing a lot of stuff out there, and then you can always catch it, Humanica Media on YouTube, Humanica Media on Facebook, and then also Pop Culture Cosmos as well. So before we head on out, I'm going to talk to you about a couple of films that I know that just got announced. One that I know you're still kind of PO'd at. I'll tell you right now, to this day, all day long, I've been hearing and seeing comments from Josh and from people going back and forth in regards to what Josh is upset about. But first, the good news, and that is officially announced. It was obviously heavily rumored and also alluded to. If you watched the latest hit movie from M. Night Shyamalan, that is Split. So if you got a chance to see Split, either in the theaters or it's just out on video, really really good movie, really really creative ending, and it really tied in to one of his previous films, which Josh hasn't seen yet. Shame on him. Unbreakable. And it alluded to the fact that there was possibly going to be another movie on the way. Spoilers. But that being said, it looks like, and it was announced on Twitter by M. Night Shyamalan, the director himself, that it's going to be a new movie coming out that's going to tie in both those films and make it a trilogy, so to speak, with, of course, Samuel L. Jackson playing the role that he played in the movie Unbreakable, and that is Mr. Glass. And along with James McAvoy and also as well Bruce Willis also joining in for a mano a mano type format where James McAvoy looks like, according to what he might have alluded to, might be aligning himself up with Mr. Glass against Bruce Willis's character. So with all that being said, what are your thoughts on a possible Mr. Glass tying up the whole Unbreakable trilogy? And does this get you excited again as far as M. Night Shyamalan's work as a whole?
I don't know. It's, if anything, like, the news has made me want to go out and watch Unbreakable. I haven't seen it. I know I need to. Actually, it's always been on my to watch list, but I've never got around to actually watching it. But yeah, I don't know, like, how I feel about that, because M. Night Shyamalan is that's how you say his name, right? It's like Josh DeLamalamala, the guy from Transformers. But yeah, I don't know, like, how he would fare in the realm of sequel. It's just hard names to pronounce. I don't know, something about the H's. I don't know. But yeah, like, it's a I don't know how I feel about sequels. Like, I don't see M. Night Shyamalan doing something as far as sequels go that could feel gritty like his style. It'll be an interesting experiment because he's never done one before, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But
well, yeah. Mr. Glass at this point in time in the realm of it was captured, at the spoilers again at the end of Unbreakable. I'm sure that you probably know by now that he is someone that I should say, is incarcerated in some type, whether he's put in a sanitarium, whether he's jailed, whatnot.
They said he was going, like, he plays a major role. Like, he knows something about what's his name, James McAvoy's character in Split. Like, he knows what he is or what they both are or something.
And James McAvoy, spoilers again, alludes to the fact that he may be aligning himself with Mr. Glass or someone of that nature. They're aligning with someone. Don't allude to who, but I mean, they allude to possibly who, but they don't specifically tell you, 100%. But I think it's alluding to the fact that those two will be getting together and to go against Bruce Willis's character in a superhero type format, which still will be within the grounds of a realistic
but plot twist.
Yeah, plot twist. Got to have a plot twist in M. Night Shyamalan. The plot twist
is going to be this. They need to find out who James McAvoy's killed. They need to talk to dead people, so they're going to recruit Haley Joel Osment to come in and take care of business.
Something like that. I don't know. That would be going way back on the Wayback Machine. But I'm looking forward to it because these are two of his best movies. because he had a long drought of movies that really did not hit the number for me, and I know it didn't hit the number for a lot of audiences. So I think he started picking up again with The Village, and it started picking up again, indeed. And I just think he's back on a high where he's creating quality movies that are hit movies, indeed. So I'm looking forward to it. What are your thoughts out there on a possible Mr. Glass movie and Samuel L. Jackson returning to the role? Because he, in that type of role, he was so good. If you've seen Unbreakable, which you should, and I hope you will, Mr. Josh Peterson. But what are your thoughts out there? Let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Also as well, Humanican Media, Pop Culture Cosmos, and Game Source on Facebook and Twitter. And while you're there, please like us and follow us so you get the latest pop culture news each and every day, indeed. So before we head on out, I wanted to talk about one last film. We've been kind of chuckling through this episode, indeed, because it's kind of funny, things popping up with and all that. But Josh has been on edge all day for a reason, and that's because a reimagining of a movie that he mentioned a few episodes ago when we were talking about our favorite films of all time. Josh, what place did The Great Outdoors come in for you?
Oh, it was number one. And now it's going to be number one on my crap list.
Yes, because The Great Outdoors was announced as far as in production, or in development, I should say, in development, with Kevin Hart taking over the role of John Candy, John Candy, perhaps, as far as the lead role in that film. And it looks like something that I don't know. Kevin Hart is a brilliant comedian doing his own stuff. Let's get that out of the way. He's just truly great at what he does and truly funny. But I don't know if this, to me, it's not going to make much of a difference because I think he's, like I said, this is going to be him acting goofy the entire way. So, because I don't have a love for The Great Outdoors that you did, but for someone who does have an affinity for the movie, obviously because it's your number one favorite of all time, I'm going to probably regret saying this, but what are your thoughts on a reimagining of The Great Outdoors?
It's blasphemy. To me, it's worse than mixing blue cheese with ranch dressing. You can't. the movie is, to me, I loved it. It's perfect. It's the perfect movie. It's sacred cinema to me because it represented the time period. It had the solid actors, and it was, it's just a fun movie to watch. And it's one of those movies that it doesn't exist anymore. You don't see movies like it. And my big concern here is it has nothing to do with Kevin Hart. Like, I'm sure, he'll play the same character he always plays, but it's the idea that they're going to change it so much. And like, why does this movie need to be remade? What's the point of this? And, I'm afraid they're going to they're going to go for cheap laughs and just turn it into like a raunchy sex com like Baywatch or Chips, or, you can even go as far to say like Starsky and Hutch or something. And it irks me so bad because it's one of those movies that just does not need to be touched. It doesn't need to be remade. It's perfect the way it is. And it's such an off movie that not a lot of people know about. So what made them go back and say, hey, we should redo The Great Outdoors?
Because it wasn't a big box office hit to my memory.
It made $41 million on its opening weekend. But how are they going? Like, that movie has so many classic scenes. How are they going to remake them? Like seeing John Candy, like a large man, doing that water ski sequence is kind of in the middle of the movie. How are they going to remake that? Like, Kevin Hart is not funny enough to pull off a physical comedy gag like that, to me. And it's just, I don't understand it. And I'm seeing it, like, this is going to be the third time that they've murdered John Candy, because remember the remake of Uncle Buck that was on TV? Tanked. They canceled it after 6 episodes. And I feel like they're just taking one of my favorite taking my favorite movie and just tainting it. I don't know. Like, and it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with them. Like,
Well, its total combined all time it made was $43 million. So
Yeah,
actually, yeah, it's not exactly like a huge box office success. I guess it's probably made a ton of money on repeats and video and DVD, but I don't even see it on TV anymore. But I know during the '90s it may have been something that was heavily watched on VHS and DVD. I'm just what concerns me is that is this really something that people want to go to as far as
does it
a
need to be made? Like,
yeah, does it really?
and to me, also, like, what was important to me about that movie was the location because it was filmed at a place that my family actually owns a cabin up there around that lake where it was filmed. So, like, I go there, I watch it, I'm like, oh, hey, I've been there. I know this place. I know this place. So that's another thing to me why I like the movie so much is the location. So, and I don't think they probably won't use that location again. We'll have to wait and see. But it's not something that needs to be made, not something that has enough popularity to be remade. So I want to know why are they remaking it?
I'd have to ask the same question as well because it's just I don't have the passion for the movie that you did, but this one it's just for me actually it's not much of a surprise because they're going to remake everything. There's not going to be there's not that many original movies. There's not that many original ideas out there that people want to go ahead and put a bankroll. These studios want to put a bankroll behind. It's just right now that they think this is a safer alternative that they think they're going to get their investment back on and maybe even a little bit more. But and Kevin Hart is a very very hot individual right now as far as what he is as a movie star, and I understand that he's got Jumanji on the way. He just did Central Intelligence. His stand up is obviously he's one of the premier stand up artists that are right now going on. So I get that. I get what he is as far as from a commercial standpoint, but to me, it comes off as just another reimagining and remake, and very few of them hit with me. And the problem is, very few of them hit with audience as well.
Yeah, and also if you think of it, like I'm sure you saw the movie, right? You saw the original
But
Great
then again,
Outdoors?
he's just finished filming Jumanji, which doesn't make it any easier as well. He's used to doing just remakes, so if he starts getting
Yeah,
pigeonholed into that, it's just
I know it's gonna put a nail in his career coffin. But another thing that bothers me about this is the fact that like just the way the characters in the Great Outdoors played the parts, like you're there's no acting. You won't find actors like that anymore. You won't find actors like John Candy or even the way Dan Aykroyd plays Roman in the movie. Like it's one of those things you're not gonna get that emotion, that family oriented man that wants to take his kids out and have a good time. You won't have that, especially with Kevin Hart style comedy. It's still like spontaneous and rambunctious. Like it's just I don't see it working very well, depending on who he's playing, I guess.
yes, indeed. I couldn't agree with you more on that. I just don't have the passion for the movie you did, but I still see the fact that this probably isn't going to be a good idea. But then again, like I said, studios are remaking all these films, and original ideas are just going by the wayside. So it's tough sledding again if The Great Outdoors is going to be a movie that's really going to be targeted for box office success. So while Josh is crying off mic, I just want to make sure everybody knows if you have your thoughts on The Great Outdoors, as we know Josh has, please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com, and also Humanican Media, Pop Culture Cosmos, and Game Source on Facebook and Twitter. So any last thoughts before we head on out?
Sorry. No, I mean I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah, I mean next week's a good week for video games and movies, right? We got Prey and we got King Arthur coming out. So and no, Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. So I mean it kind of kicks off the summer box office season. So we'll have plenty of cool stuff to talk about in the coming days.
Indeed, but Guardians of the Galaxy does come out this weekend internationally, so I am keeping, and also Pop Culture Cosmos is keeping a keen eye on it, because I think one of the things that we're going to talk about on the Monday show is how is it faring overseas, the critical reception, which we'll talk about on Monday overall, and is that going to be a precursor for how successful it will be now that's on a bigger stage, being the May tentpole movie for Marvel Studios. So we're definitely going to be talking about that indeed on our Monday show. Catch that 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific on the Podcast Radio Network, the Pop Culture Cosmos Show, or any one of our 9 other downloadable outlets. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford, and we truly appreciate you being part of the PCC Multiverse. We thank you for listening. It's another beautiful day here in paradise, here in the PCC Multiverse. We thank you for listening, and here's hoping you have yourself a great day.